I forgot to tell you guys this, but so I met a black guy yesterday that works at the hospital with me. Tall guy, like when I talk to him, I have to look up like this. I haven't done that in years, but nevertheless, he's been a nurse for a long time, and he and I were just talking. He always comes up and say hi to me, and they call me Smiley. And so he asked me how was I liking it there, and I said, yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's nursing. I think it's the same wherever you go. I said I needed to get away, so I'm here, and so I have to, put up with whatever. This is my getaway moment. And so he said, "No, I understand." And he and I were just talking about, black representation in the workplace, and we both agree that it matters. It matters, and I know I'm very vocal, and a lot of people may not say this. I even told the CEO when I got there, they do these round robins for introduction, like doing orientation. Then you go back in 60 days. I think we go back. I want to say we go back in 6 months. I don't know, but anyway, and we have this open communication. And I did. I told him, I said, I had accepted a position in Austin before I took this one, and although it was night shift, and I did not want to work night shift, what really sold me on this position here was my director is black. And at the other hospital I worked at, the only black person in leadership was the lady that was over security. Nobody else looked like me in that hospital, Texoma Medical Center, you know, not in leadership. Nobody looked like me in the specialties either. And so being here at this hospital, they welcome new grads into ICU like they welcome new grads into med surge back in Dallas. And that's not common in the Dallas area. I don't know about other locations. And they also welcome blacks in leadership. There's a couple of black people there in leadership. Like my director is black. The director over, I think 5B or 5C, one of those is black. My director's over 2, so I think he's over 5D and 5C, and there's another over 5B. The director over security here is black. But I've seen a lot of black people there in leadership, and I don't know, it matters to me. And so this young guy that I was talking to, his name is, I won't say his name, but he's black. And he said it matters to him too. And I don't know where I'm getting this, sense of validation. I really don't need it, right? But it does feel good, I must admit, when someone is seeing the way you're seeing. Because oftentimes, with my family members, they think I'm difficult. My oldest son even said that I'm drama, you know. And I don't think I'm difficult, and I also don't think I'm drama. But what I will tell you is I'm Sandra, and what I will tell you is I'm very direct, and what I will tell you is I'm going to say my piece. I'm going to speak my mind. And my grandmother Ficklin always told me that because she said, you know what? Other people would speak their minds. Other people would tell you how they feel. So why not you? Right? And so I grew up in that space. I didn't talk back. I didn't get flip at the lip. I most definitely didn't do it with my adult parents or people that was, had leadership over me, or people that, that I was supposed to, put in high esteem. But I was taught that. Again, could not say it back to mama. I couldn't challenge my grandma, and not in a way to challenge. She didn't teach me to be disrespectful at all. She did not. That's not what I'm saying. But just to speak my truth. And so I spoke my truth one time and got backspacked in the mouth like this by mama. So you do need to have some wisdom when you are speaking your truth. But nevertheless, back to the hospital. It was just good that it wasn't just me. It wasn't just me that was feeling this way. And so, like I told him, I said, I've spoken to the CEO, Thomas. He's the CEO of my hospital. And, he just told me, he said, Sandra, I appreciate you. He said he was from Arkansas. He said he understand what I'm saying, and he told me by no means, he told me, and I think I shared this with you guys before. He was like, Sandra, don't ever change being you. And I told him I had no plans. I had no plans in changing who I was. I have gone to therapy, I have gone to counseling, and I have worked on some things. But I even share with my therapist, there's some things that I don't want to work on about me. There's some things about me that I really, really enjoy, right? And those things may ruffle some other people's feathers, and that's okay, right? But I don't have a desire to change. So I don't know. I'm sitting here. I got a lot on my mind today. I'm doing a lot of stuff. And so because my mind is so convoluted today, I'm not studying. I'm watching videos, but I'm not really applying it. Just don't want to have a day with none of that stuff going into my heart or my head, but I'm not really studying. So as I was sitting here on the floor, I began to think of that, like, I'm there. And although down here, we're all people of color, majority of us, but again, Hispanics down here don't think that they're people of color. The Hispanics down here think they're white. So again, I'm back in that place where is a whole pot of people, and then here go Lisanne, just one of me. And it was just a blessing. I've seen him before. Like I said, he always speaks to me, but we never really spoke. And so we spoke yesterday. And yeah, we had some good conversations every time he would come up, because he's in CV ICU, and they have a part of our floor since our census has been low. So I see him often now, and we would speak in passing, but every time he had to come up to the nursing station for anything, he would stop and speak to me. And yeah, we shared some of the same sentiments. He's been in healthcare longer than me, but he acknowledged, some of the same things that I see and acknowledge. And he too only does 3 days, and I told him I was so tired yesterday because I did 4 days. I hadn't done 4 days in a row since back in Dallas. And I just don't want to ever do it again. Bedside nursing is hard. It's taxing on the body. And down here, you have no help with the techs. At least in Dallas, them techs, they work. Matter of fact, they did so much of my job. When I got down here, I was ignorant. I didn't know how to put in a Pruitt. I didn't know how to do a 12-lead EKG, because the techs did that, So I've learned a lot being down here. I'm grateful for that. My skills are most definitely sharpened, and I'm a better well-rounded nurse because of it. But yeah, even talking to my nephew that's getting ready to go to CRNA school, he said he didn't have a plan to apply until fall of next year. But he said, Auntie, I'm so tired of bedside nursing. He said he just ready to start now, and get over. He and I have been a nurse the same amount of time. We graduated at the same time and started, at the same time. So yeah, I'm not complaining. I'm grateful. And I'll tell you, even with the situation I'm going through now, I really have nothing to complain about, right? Because life could have just been totally different for me. And so I count it all joy. I don't take for granted my days. I'm human, so things still bother me and rattle me. I can tell that something is bothering me because I wake up now in the middle of the night. And, when I got down here, I was sleeping peacefully, just waking up maybe, at 3 or 3:30. But now I'm waking up in the middle of the night throughout. So most definitely got to get back in counseling and work through what I'm going through. And if I don't, I always like to check in with it. But if I don't get back in counseling, I know how to work through my situations now. I still get rattled up initially. Like, that's the video that I made earlier today. Just, having to get somewhere and sit down, because the initial me is still there. And the initial me wants to do things without thinking. Yeah. I just get real, and just wanna go out. So I have to bring it on back in and think of the consequences, Sandra, and them grandbabies sort of kind of bring it back and make me level-headed. I thank God for them, because I do want to be a part of their lives, and I can do some things that would make me not be a part of their lives, So anyway, I'm rattling on too much. Bye.